Yo, people, welcome back to another episode of All You Can Eat Chelsea, episode 201 of All You Can Eat Chelsea, back with the cast and crew, the OGs, back again here for another big bomber of an episode. We got a lot to get into. We got some disgusting ticket touting from a rich man who doesn't need to do so, right? We got a little bit of a transfer review, I guess, a little bit of a transfer window review. I know I did my solo one, but, you know, I've been too harsh on Mattis. Or Mattis. Yeah? I've been far too harsh. Bro.
It's Matisse.
Matisse. I've been harsh on you, Matisse. Sorry, Wonder Kid. So let's get into that. And of course, we just played West Ham and we have Brighton on the horizon. So we're going to discuss in the cup just how much it means, the FA Cup, because I feel like people need to be reminded about trophies, because we don't talk about that at all anymore as a fan base. We don't talk about our ambitions to win FA Cups or win anything really of any magnitude or any importance. So it's very important that we talk about how important that FA Cup game is on the weekend for Brighton against them. But we'll get straight into it. Younes, brother, how are you feeling? How are you doing?
I'm good. 201. Lovely. You know, it's funny. That's my local bus.
They have buses out there?
No. My bus, my OG bus in London.
Oh, I was going to say, Dubai don't need buses.
Dubai don't have buses. They do planes.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm good. Everything's all good. Obviously, what we're going to get into is going to be, I'm sure, very insightful. But in general, lovely jubbly.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Miz, brother, how are you doing? How are you feeling today?
Good, bro. The club's got a player called Matisse. Yeah, I think you might have heard, the club's probably heard you talking a lot of negative stuff towards the club. And he's like, might get a player with his name and maybe he might start talking good about us. So soon they'll get a Younes, 19-year-old Younes. They'll get an 18-year-old Miz. And, they got us on board, bro.
They can do their own all-you-can-eat Chelsea.
The baby version, the kid version. Do you know what I mean?
the PG version.
we should one day dress up like, 18, 19-year-old, just come here and all you can eat Chelsea, the Chelsea project. The new ownership project. Nah, man, I'm doing good, bro. Looking forward to talking to you.
Yeah, man. Let's start quickly with the new Matisse in the building. Matisse. I'm not going to call him Matisse. I'm going to call him Matisse. Matisse. Look, what did you guys give the window out of 10? Because I gave it a 0.
Wow. I didn't even think about this. Of course. What did we do? We let go of
the only deals I liked was Chukwuemeka going to Dortmund.
Yeah, I like
and Chalobah coming back. But in the context of Chalobah coming back, it wasn't necessarily well done. It was you save face, you had to put your toe in between your legs and go back. But it was the only two deals I looked at and said, I like them. Now, obviously, I like the fact that Sassi's gone, but, he should be leaving permanently, ideally. And and then after that, it's just there's a lot of craziness in there.
So let me get this straight. We spent this entire window fixing the mess of the last window. That's what we did, right?
Yeah, partly. Yeah. Good chunk of it.
Good chunk of it was rectifying the mistakes from the last one. So how can I even sit here and grade this? Like, you got to fail for the last window. And now how do I rectify? Like, do you know what I mean? It's not even worth grading it. Look, all I'll say is that we got rid of players that were not part of the plan, which sounds very stupid because 6 months ago they were part of the plan. Hopefully now Maresca can have a set squad that he believes in, he can trust, he can utilize players from the bench. We didn't bring anyone besides Chalobah. And Chalobah is not even the standard. Like, Chalobah is good, he's okay, not the secondary defender, but he's not the standard. And then we got the brother Matisse. I like to call him Matisse. I'm going to call him Matisse. We brought in Matisse and we're not even going to use him. So that's what's been briefed, that he's just a showpiece. He's just a decoration piece that we just got around the corner. So 0, I guess.
It's weird, Younes, that people have ignored that. What would you give the rating out of the transfer window?
Can I go into the minuses?
You can if you want.
Yeah, actually. Point.
Bro, it's been, as far as I'm concerned, the squad is weaker. Which is insane considering we're meant to be chasing for top four, well, Champions League football. I say Champions League football. We'll see if fifth is going to be that. But the squad's weaker. This midfielder who's been brought in, again, from a footballing standpoint, there's no logic to this whatsoever because we're bringing him in. He's going to spend 3 months at Chelsea and then we're going to send him off to Strasbourg. And then apparently we're going to bring back Santos when we could have just done all of this now. You know, considering Lavia clearly is very unreliable and probably now a big doubt as to whether he's even going to be part of the plan because he just gets broken every 5 minutes, with respect. So it doesn't make any sense. We've not strengthened anywhere that we need to strengthen. We're getting the brief that, no, don't worry, everything's being planned for the summer. Okay. Just like we were told it was going to take 4 windows and now it's going to be 7. All right.
Like
nice
last summer, Younes. It was all planned last summer as well.
It's the same story. It's the same story. You know, and it's going to be 3 years in and it's the same ridiculousness. So as far as I'm concerned, this window's been a failure.
I think as well what's very silly about this transfer for this kid is that Saint Etienne are like 16th in the league. He's got less than 10 full 90s. He doesn't start for them in recent months, right? He started at the beginning of the season. Now he doesn't really always start. Yeah. And Maresca's made it really abundantly clear already. He doesn't play players he doesn't trust. And that includes seniors that have been around the block. So what makes people think he's going to trust this kid who has less than 10? I don't think you understand how little that is. Less than 10 full 90
I can't believe you actually
appearances
done research. I didn't even bother.
Yeah, I had to. Less than 10 full 90s.
I kept it moving.
How is someone with less than 10 full 90-minute appearances? Again, I don't think people realize how few game time, how little game time is, a little experience that is. How are they going to come to Chelsea? And again, I don't think people understand what the objective is for the signing of the midfielder. It's not just to go and sign any Tom, Dick and Harry that has talent, that can play Conference League. It's not just to go and bring in any player that you think has potential. It is, if Caicedo goes down, are they ready to pick up the pieces? If the answer is no, it is not a good signing.
Exactly.
Because I don't really understand why a few people can't seem to get it wrapped around their head that if Caicedo gets injured, we have nobody to play in midfield to win tackles and interceptions in a team that already leaks chances, goals, and can get cut up. He's leading in all those metrics, and we're still susceptible to conceding chances. So what is going to happen if he goes down, as he did against Wolves, and everybody shit themselves? Yeah. Why do people think this is some sort of silly joke man position that we're playing with here? This is the midfield. And Lavia's out till mid-March. And I'm already ready to make a prediction that when Lavia comes back, he'll be injured again. And he will be out before the end of the season even ends. Yep. So that is the difference between making Champions League and not. And we haven't even got to the forwards or, you know, the keeper. But thankfully, Jorgensen was in the last game. He didn't make an error leading to goal. Although the manager said he's resting Sanchez. You don't really rest goalkeepers. I still don't take the manager too seriously on the goalkeeper situation. I still think he's still firmly in the camp of playing Sanchez. But hopefully Jorgensen could get a 4 or 5 game consistency going, you know, a little bit of a run to try and see if he can build up some momentum, build some confidence, try and be a decent goalkeeper for us. But this midfield position, you've seen Enzo and Caicedo gassed. You've seen it.
100%.
So, and you've also seen, even at the end of that West Ham game, Enzo cooked. Couldn't keep up with the pace at the end to get back into position because he's cooked.
There's an interesting point here, right? Especially, I want to focus on Santos here because if we're bringing in this Matisse, is it Amugu? It is,
yeah.
So the fact that we have to even try and remember the name tells you like what's going on.
It's just too many players in and out, bro. It's not easy.
This guy comes in. Instead, and the plan is apparently, like I said, in the summer to send him off to Strasbourg, right? Why don't we just do that now? Why don't we just recall Santos in now? If what is being said is true, I'm going to say this. If what is being said is true, that he's coming back in the summer, he's part of the first team squad, and that's it. Well, why not just bring him back now? If you're so adamant that he's part of the plan and we need a midfielder, we'll bring him in now. Instead of, the whole thing is, okay, we don't want to interrupt his development. Keep him at Strasbourg to the summer. But then he's coming in anyway. The whole point as to why it would have been a good idea to keep him there is if Lavia was still a solid option and we know Santos is just not going to play. Lavia's not playing and clearly unreliable. Santos is going to come in. He's part of the plan. He's going to play. As you said, Caicedo and Enzo can't play every single game to the end of the season and just maintain that. Especially, we saw Enzo. You saw the last game where I think it was in the lead up to the goal. Enzo he couldn't. Was it the goal or was it a chance? I forgot.
I think it was a chance, right? Yeah, I think Tosin made a block.
He couldn't keep up. You could just see, his legs were gone. His legs were gone.
People don't take these things seriously, Younes. And then they'll wonder why we concede a goal late on and drop points.
This is the problem. But if Santos is going to be part of the squad, bring him in now, and he's going to be here anyway. Why is there a notion as to, it has to be in the summer? Right? And then
because
he's going to come in anyway.
Mid-season, Younes, you don't want to disturb his development. It's
going to
ruin.
He's going to be part of the squad anyway. This is my point. He's going to be at Chelsea anyway. He's going to be, apparently, I don't believe he will. This is my point. I don't believe he will. I believe he'll get to the summer, someone will make a bid, and because he's been playing, he'll go for a good price. That's what I believe is going to happen, and we'll see. I might be wrong.
And then it might be briefed. Then it might be briefed that he wanted to be a starter, or he wanted like a new contract with higher weight. I don't know. Something will be spun or something. I don't know.
Because we have to also remember, we're going after the other guy from Sporting Lisbon, aren't we? He's meant to be coming in the summer, 25 million or whatever, right? So where does Santos fit in all of this then? If we're sending this guy to Strasbourg, we're going to get another midfielder, and we're sending him on loan immediately? Or I believe the script is being made ready for Santos to be sold in the summer. That's what I believe is going to happen.
Well, we're not going to be selling Lavia because we're not going to take a hit on 60 million.
No. This is why
as we've seen with Nkunku, the asking price,
and logically think. And I invite all of the majority of the fan base to think deeper about these sort of things and not just from the face value and just comment. As both of you guys have said, first of all, we need to understand Andrei Santos is a Chelsea player. He's not a Strasbourg player. Yeah. He's owned by Chelsea Football Club. So this notion of, we don't want to hamper his development. What's Strasbourg going to think? Strasbourg fans are all going to be upset, this, that, the other. Well, buy a player for Strasbourg. So this Matisse Amogo, whatever his name is, right? Why wasn't he purchased from Strasbourg? Why wasn't he purchased from their books and be a Strasbourg player? You go in, we need Andrei Santos back because he's a Chelsea player. He's owned by Chelsea. He's our asset and we need help in midfield. But see, that's the logical thing to do, right? That's the logical thing to do. And I think all of this sister club situation is getting a bit too complex as well, because you've got their fan base that you need to make sure that you don't piss them off as well. You've got our face. You haven't even got a hold of our fan base, let alone trying to get a hold of Strasbourg's fan base.
No, they've lost the Strasbourg fan base already. That
one's lost. They've already protested and all sorts last season. We already saw.
They still are. Yeah.
Now, I know, this is how it feels like. It feels like it's got to do with money here. They realize that Santos's value is rising, skyrocketing. They see that. And for them, and this is what I've been commenting on Younes's tweets in recent times, resale value greater than wins. Because they see that with Santos coming back, sure, he might play now because Lavia's off, and the odd game he might not play because we only play with the two midfielders on, whatever the case is. And then when Lavia comes back, if he stays fit or not, let's just say he does, then Santos becomes an idle player. He's just sitting there and they see their value of the player, going down. So they want to ensure that Santos stays there, becomes player of the season there. He's the club captain there. And he finishes off that project with a bang, and maybe Strasbourg gets a European position, whether it's Conference League, whether it's Europa League, whatever the case is. And then when he does return back to Chelsea, his price is on top. On top. There is no negotiation. Chelsea are in full control, full power. Bayern Munich are interested. Now, here's the thing. We say that, and here's the other, I guess, the twist on this matter. We are saying that, he's going to be an important player. Next season, he's going to be an important player. How? How will he be an important player? You've got Caicedo, you've got Enzo Fernandez, and you've got Lavia. Now, let's say, for argument's sake, you've disregarded Lavia. You know what? He's always injured. You still got Enzo and you got Caicedo. You think a player like Andrei Santos, he doesn't have his agents and his entourage saying, you see that club Chelsea? I'm not really sure about youngsters over there, You've had a good platform at Strasbourg. You deserve to start at a club that really believes in you, not at a club where Enzo and Caicedo will be ahead of you and you're going to be the sidekick for the time being. They'll be pushing Andrei Santos that you deserve to start as well. So if there's a good offer, we'll also pack up bags and we'll leave. Thank you, Chelsea Football Club, for giving us the platform. You don't really mean to utilize me as an important player because I'm always going to be in the bench and I don't want to stagnate my growth. I'm going to go as well. So these kids are not stupid, Tell didn't want to join us. Do you understand how stupid that sounds? Matthias Tell didn't want to join Chelsea Football Club because there's just too much, too many. You can say I'm going to be an important player, but you've got too many. So I don't believe, and right now, if I was a youngster, I wouldn't be believing anything Chelsea's telling me. Because I've seen how you operate. Cassidy, do you guys remember? Starlet from Inter Milan.
The next Ballack.
He's going to be an important player. Well, the important player has gone to Torino now. Do you know what I mean? David Dutra Fofana, and the list goes on. David Washington, he's back to Santos. So brilliant. If I'm Andrei Santos, I'm very careful about what I'm doing at Chelsea. Very careful because Chelsea themselves don't know what they're doing.
But they've come out and promised that he's part of the squad next season. Mm-hmm. I'm taking that promise very seriously.
Paper thin.
and the thing is that we should be playing Champions League football next season. So you're going to need Santos. You're not going to be able to play Caicedo, Enzo, and don't even count on Lavia. Lavia is a bonus. He's an asterisk. You're not going to be able to play Caicedo, Enzo twice a week, every game, every week. So you're going to need Andrei Santos, who's demonstrating the quality of a player that looks like he can contribute in the Champions League, in the group phase or the league phase. So if I'm looking at Andrei Santos in the summer, I'm speaking to his agent, I'm saying, you're going to get plenty of game time. Because Lavia is a bonus, right? And I'm even leaping you ahead of Lavia in the pecking order right now because I can't depend on him. I have to look after him. I have to play him in the lesser games, get him back up to speed. But this is Chelsea Football Club. And we are built on having competitive squads where we can bring in top players and top potential players for other players. That's how you compete for Premier League. That's how you compete for Champions League.
Champions League's the kicker. If we get Champions League, then I can see Santos staying. If we don't get Champions League and it's Europa or this, that, the other, bro, if Bayern's knocking on the door, you're going to Bayern. And I'm pretty sure Chelsea are selling. Because that other sporting guy that Younes talked about, he's also getting touted to be bought in. So how do you fit all of these people in? Do you know what I mean? And what about Leslie Ogochukwu? We forgot about that.
Yeah. Again, he's playing resale value. He'll get sold.
That was the player that I said logistically, logically, if you can't make a case for Santos, you can definitely make a case for Ogochukwu.
Yeah.
Who's got nearly triple more experience in top 5 league football than the guy that we just brought in. I'm not talking about player quality or whatever. You want to have your opinion on Mattis and, no, listen, I'm talking about top flight football experience. Ogochukwu's got nearly triple the amount of minutes played at the top 5 level, top 5 league level, which means based upon experience in a top 4 race, I'm leaning more towards him if we need him to come on the last 15, 20 minutes to manage the game or to see out a win. And by the way, he is one of those players that is probably better off out on loan to actually get some game time, get some momentum, because he hasn't had any, whereas Santos has had it for a whole year. So I'm more than comfortable plucking him out because he's had a whole year in France. He's been playing at a top level. He's got a top mentality. He's a leader in that team now. What's not to like? I have absolutely no interest in what Strasbourg are doing, where they finish or whatever. And like Miss said, you can replace a player with another player. They're not going to finish in the Champions League spots and they're not going to get relegated. But it is what it is, because it's done now. And we just have to hope and pray that our midfielders don't get injured.
Yeah, and I want to also add a little caveat. A little caveat would be, we've discussed, if we do make Champions League football, then we would need the quality and depth as well. If we don't make Champions League football, I feel like there's also one other player we have to focus on here, and that's Enzo. There could be a chance if we don't make Champions League football, Enzo turns and goes, nah, bruv, I want to play Champions League football.
Bro, Cole Palmer as well. You'd throw in Cole Palmer, Younes.
Palmer's a given. Palmer's a given, right? But in terms of this midfield situation, Caicedo, I don't think so. But Enzo, you never know. You never know. And that could be the thing that opens up the door for Santos to maybe stay, but it does mean that I believe if we don't make Champions League football, we're losing a midfielder. Whether it's him or Santos, one of them. But again, I believe it'll probably be Santos, with the one that's been playing, and resale value will be high, profit margins will be high, and end up selling him.
I think we got to look at it in a deeper point of view. If you guys were players right now, both of you guys, if you were players right now, are you joining Chelsea Football Club?
No. Depends what type of player I am.
You're a good,
if I'm not a very good player, and I'm about to get myself a 7-year contract and my life is sorted, I'm there.
I agree.
No. So you're a good, talented youngster, or someone who's already there. Yeah, I can understand if you're like one of those potentials, you've not really shown anything, but you've shown glimpses. Yeah, you join because it's such a free ride. But I'm talking about, you're a talented youngster, you've got suitors out there, or you're someone who's already been at the club for 2 seasons and you're a talented player.
Like Tell.
Are you sticking around?
Like Tell was touted to be, because there was other clubs snooping around and all of that. No. But like Matisa said, if I'm someone like Amugu, where I've literally just played a handful of games with the Saint-Etienne first team because I got promoted from the youth setup, and now Chelsea are in for me, see you later, Saint-Etienne, I'm gone.
So what I'm trying to get to is those type of players, the Amugu type of players, is that going to take us places?
Exactly. This is the whole point. The whole point is there.
This is my thing. If the player's already lined up to go out on loan for Strasbourg, then how is it possible that they're ready to help Chelsea make top 4? It's literally impossible. Yeah. If you've already decided someone's going out on loan and you've already briefed that someone's not getting significant minutes and they're just here to train with the top players, then how can they be relied upon or good enough to help us get top 4? We're not Brighton. People say, but we're not Brighton. Brighton, they don't, there's no consequences for them not making Champions League.
No.
Right? They don't need to make European places. It's a bonus if they do. They can lose, they can win. They can take those risks because the outcomes are not as consequential. That is not the case at our football club. No. If we don't make Champions League, we don't get the sponsorships we need to get. We don't get the added revenue we need to get. And therefore, we can't be in the conversations for some of the top strikers that you're seeing banging in goals on, and you're getting all excited on the timelines about, or you can't get the goalkeeper, whoever you think that we need to go to address the spine to go and put a serious assault and an attack on this Premier League next season. You can't get these things because you're not going to have the money. If this window has not told you anything, it's 2 things. Blues Co is more important than Champions League as an objective, and more importantly, right? More importantly, squad building, not interested. Because how can we be interested in this midfielder? He comes in, and now you're talking about a Sporting Lisbon midfielder, again, on top of Okuchuku Santos, plus Dyer and Raksaki, plus Enzo and Caicedo, plus Lavia. How can we be going for another midfielder you guys are talking about from Sporting Lisbon on top of all the midfielders we already have? And what I find so stupid is that we're willing to pay 14 million euros for a midfielder to potentially sell at 20 million euros, right? Or we're doing the Cassidy. Very minimal profit, maybe a bit of a sell-on clause, waste of everyone's time. That Cassidy deal now goes down as a waste of everyone's time because you didn't make a big profit. Same with the Go Diego deal. But how much profit could you make on Dyer and Raksaki, who don't cost anything? Quite a bit of profit. Pure profit.
But even Cassidy, how long was his contract?
It was, I think, 7 or 8 years.
7 or 8 like everybody else.
Yeah.
He was here for how long?
2 seasons. So you reduce it by 2. So you're making money. You still made money. And
but you can make more money. You can make more money on Dyer and Raksaki.
Oh, they'll do that.
Pure profit.
They'll do that as well.
They'll come to that.
Yeah.
How? Loans?
So Raksaki
Maybe, yeah.
You're going to send him on loan down the track, so you're going to get a loan fee for that. Yeah. You're going to then eventually, if he does well in the loan, you're going to sell him off of pure profit. Matisse, we were able to sell Michael Golding to Leicester for 5 million. He didn't do anything.
That's only because we bought Dewsbury Hall in return.
True, yes.
PSR, that's the only reason.
What's there to say that the business relationship won't continue with other clubs? Do you know what I mean? So, look, bottom line is, I think we need to come back to what you said, Matisse. There's no thinking about winning anymore. Look at our conversations for the past, 26 minutes. We've circled around business. No one's really talking about
just thinking that.
Trophies anymore.
Yeah.
And this is what I said off air to you. The fan base, big up to our owners, man. Honestly, big up to them. They've been successfully been able to brainwash a lot of us. We talk about finances, we talk about business. Some get excited about every youngster that gets linked to us. How can you get excited about everyone? You can get excited about one or two, but every single one of them?
Bro, there's a big, I call it the football manager mindset.
Yeah.
There are people that will look at this deal for Amugu and go, oh, no, yeah, I had him in my FM team and he helped me take Leyton Orient to the Champions League final, so he must be sick. I swear down, there's people that think that way, and it's like that's how they're looking at things. You can't help them, as far as I'm concerned. And I'm worried because that's the generation that's coming through now. That's a generation of fan that's starting to make its way through, bro. I'm worried for where it's all heading.
Younes, someone said to me on my DM, hey, check out this Sporting Lisbon guy. He's a Caicedo region.
And
I had to reply back and say, do you realize Caicedo is only 22?
Caicedo just got started. We're looking for his regions.
He don't need regen yet. He's not the finished product as yet. And we've got a region.
He's not even Gen yet.
He's not even Gen. Let alone re. So, bro. But this is the thing, Matisse. The fan base, bro, Iqbali, sporting directors,
puppet strings.
Every time we screw up a result, what's the next brief? This player, this link, this 19-year-old, that, and everyone's forgotten again. And then you throw in the odd wins here and there with the West Ham. We've got Brighton, maybe we'll win against them. And then again, a slapping against one of the big teams. Do you know what I mean? Like they know there's just enough to just keep everyone on their side. They know that. Until, and eventually when, shit really hits the fan, then they'll start realizing. But right now, it's all comfortable, man. It's all comfortable. And the fan base will say that. Watch, people will comment right now, Liz, you're doing too much. We're fourth. We're in, like.
I got the same thing yesterday.
Then you have to shut your mouth as well. We're fourth. What are we crying about? We're fourth. Great business.
It's very dangerous that this model suits this generation of football fan or some parts of this football fandom very well. Because if you dangle the carrot of potential and young and upcoming, people are allowed to dream.
Yep, exactly.
People are allowed to dream and they're allowed to They start to wander into abyss and imagine things that aren't reality. But they're not imagining anymore about Premier Leagues or Champions Leagues
No.
or FA Cups, because you can't possibly be imagining about those things whilst every edition doesn't strengthen our chances of winning those things, doesn't improve the starting 11, doesn't improve the squad, doesn't provide the manager with more serious options off the bench to change games, to manage games, to see out games. But people will be complaining if this kid doesn't come on to seal the deal at the Emirates when we're leading 1-0 with half an hour to go.
Exactly.
A kid that hasn't played 10 games, a kid that hasn't learned the ropes, a kid that has so much of developing and improving to do.
Yeah.
If he doesn't come on to see out the game and Enzo's gassing out, and then we lose 2-1 because we didn't bring on the kid and Enzo and Caicedo fall apart, they'll blame Maresca. They'll blame Maresca for poor in-game management, not knowing that it's not about it's not about what position you have on the bench. It's about the quality and who it is and what they've been able to do in this sport thus far to be trusted in a scenario, in a situation like that.
Exactly.
Because he's already shown you can buy Renato Vega at the same time as I come in. I'm not going to use him. You can bring in Felix at the same time as I come in. I'm not going to use him. You can give me Drewsbury Hall, who I already managed on a PSR. I'm not going to bring him on for Enzo when he's gassing out. So either people are not watching Enzo Maresca or they refuse to. You can bring in whatever young talent you want. He's not interested in playing players he doesn't think are ready. He's already shown that. He hasn't played Gu up until right now. He's even misprofiled our whole ass Christopher Nkunku for half the season because he doesn't think Gu's ready. So if he doesn't deem this kid ready, and I don't see how he will, because the board have already briefed he's not ready, and the fact that he's going to Strasbourg is already an indication that he is not ready, because why would someone that is so good be already leaving on loan before they've even played a game?
It's insane.
If they were good enough, then they would be able to surprise you and cancel out that plan and say, actually, I'm ready to be here right now. So, hey, like I said, I hope we don't have to learn the hard way. I've said it with Sanchez. We had to learn the hard way. I'm going to say it with the midfield all season. We might have to learn the hard way. I said it with the striker position. And Jackson has not, Jackson's not been, he's been underwhelming to cut it nicely. I hope Gu can do something for us. But again, we might have to learn the hard way.
You know what, lads? I was thinking about this straight after the West Ham game. The only way we make it to top 4 is simply due to desire and hard work. From a talent point of view, yes, some of our players are talented, but this is no different to other teams. Other teams have talented players as well. But you see teams like your Bournemouth or your Nottingham Forest or Aston Villa or whoever else, they generally get over the line because they work harder. They run more than the opposition, let's just say. They win their 50-50s. They win their... The only way, I don't know if you guys noticed, Cucurella said something really interesting, and I talked about this yesterday. Post-match, Cucurella said, we played like a family. We played like a team. It's not going to come down to Cole Palmer magically just carrying us. It's not going to happen like last season because teams know exactly what to do. It's going to happen if our team together, if they start feeling that they feel that their dignity is being reduced, they feel that, people are mocking them. If they sort of come together and sort of say, we need to start delivering something that the fan base can be proud of, and we need to go that extra mile, work a lot harder. That's the only way we're going to go into top 4, I'm telling you. It's not because we have a talented squad. It's not. We're going to be able to just squeeze out games like that the way we did against West Ham. Look at the goals that we scored. They were very fortuitous. Pedro Neto, it fell right there. He had a shot, boom, it's in. Cole Palmer was crossing it in and he took a deflection and it was in. Kudus had a chance. Luckily, Tosin blocked that. Mm-hmm. it's not like we're blowing teams away. We're winning just by fighting. That's it. So this fight is the issue, though, because we don't consistently fight. And to consistently fight, you've got to be here and you've got to be mature. For kids to be consistently fight and have that attitude, very difficult. Very difficult.
It's a very good point.
This is why Maresca said what he said. He knew they have the fight every now and then, but they don't consistently have the fight.
Yeah.
Now, if we had experienced players like back in the days, right? They don't always need to fight. They got the talent to switch it on whenever they want to, and boom, we blow the opposition away.
And
Frank Lampard, long range shot, boom. Didier Drogba cross, head up, boom. Do you know what I mean? Like, they've got the talent. They don't always need... How many times, lads, do you guys remember? How many times you've seen Chelsea back then, and it's like we're in second gear and we're still winning the game?
You just know.
We're not even trying.
You just know.
We're winning the game.
Or when it comes to it where they have to dig out
a 1-0 win.
It'll come.
Yeah. Just defend.
Something 20 from minutes, the pocket just comes out.
Last 20 minutes, we could be behind, and it's like, don't worry, I'll be fine. And then, we win 2-1. The expertise kicks in with guys that have been there, done it, worn the t-shirt. They know, and you can rely on them. There's no doubt. There's no doubt. There's another point. Sorry, Miz. Hold that thought. There's another point here that I feel like is important. There's a lot of, I think, fans now that are, as we say, not looking past their nose. They're not looking at the grander picture, or it's like that analogy that Bruce Lee uses about looking at the finger instead of looking at the moon. You know, it's being so short-sighted. There are other teams that we're competing with here. There are other clubs that are also doing things that are moving forward. People are solely just focused on us, like no one else is moving.
Yeah, no one else is moving.
This is insane. They're only looking at, oh no, it's going to be fine because look, we've done this and we've done that, and you know that will take a bit of time, but it's okay. But what about everyone else? Not thought about them. Not thought about the business that everyone else is doing, or the squads that are growing elsewhere. Like, this is a competition. We are going to compete.
Do you know what this is? It's like being in an exam and you're in your own world on this one question. You're just doodling, right? Doodling. And you're drawing, you're doing some working out. So you're like, everything's going to be okay because I'm just doing this, taking my time, being meticulous, making sure I don't forget anything. Meanwhile, everybody else in the hall is 5, 6, 7, 8 questions down the line because they know that there's a timer. Last year, we're on question 3. We're doodling. We need a striker. Okay, how do we get that? Let's work it out. We need a midfielder. Okay, well, let's work it out. Goalkeeper, centre back. Okay, well, 1 year later, we're still in this question. Everybody else has already filled this out. They already know. And if they don't have it, they've moved on. They've moved on to other questions. They're moving on. They're flying through the paper. Maybe we'll come back to that. We're here just still signing our Matisses and all of our little deals that are irrelevant and insignificant to any sort of grand scheme. We're trying to get the one little carry over the 6 to get 1 mark. And there's questions after this that have 10, 15, 20 marks. And we're here still trying to get this 6.
And not just that, Matisse.
That's what we're doing.
Once we get that 1 mark, we're like, yeah, we got that 1 mark. Yeah. And then we look around, the time's up. Everyone's handed their, papers in and everyone's completed the whole lot. They've all moved on. And we're just happy with that accomplishment of 1 point that we finally, we got it right. We got that one right.
We complete we complete a third of the paper and rejoicing over that one working out, basically. Yeah. Yeah.
It's mad. We got some, again, like I said, the fixtures are getting fast and the fixtures are coming fast. They're getting difficult, man. I think our last 2 away games are Forest and Newcastle away. Physical games. And we're going to be tired towards the back end of the season. I think we're going to be very tired because we're not rotating a lot. We're going to be very tired.
Those 2 will be top 4, matches. I'm sure they'll be.
Yeah, of course.
You got to wish to be in top 4. I'm so certain.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
End of the season is massive. We're playing all the teams, bar Man United. All the teams that are in the fight.
And we don't beat Man United, Younes, though. We beat them last year at Stamford Bridge, but we don't generally. It's not been the greatest form against them. Do you
You
know?
have to at home.
It's not. But I mean, they're mudded as well. They're like looking at relegation more towards top half of the table instead. So it's a bit, yeah. But you never know. You're right. You never know.
Do we have any hope for, before we move on to Todd Bowley and his vivid seats, do we have any hope for Nkunku in this new position that we saw in the second half when he put in the 10? He overlapped Cucurella. He then says that he's open to doing these things. He didn't do it much. He only did it against Ipswich, Southampton, and Leicester with Felix. He didn't play him or start him any other games. He didn't start him any other games. He's out the door now, and he's got Nkunku in this inside 10. And actually, I remember against Ipswich, he took off Felix, who I thought had a better first half than Nkunku, and he put Nkunku in that pocket in the second half. And I think he put maybe Gu up front, or he had Jackson still up there. Is this a one positive from that game? Because obviously Neto, yes, he'll fluctuate, inconsistent it seems right now, but because he hasn't got the box presence to aim for with his main threat, which is the crosses. That's his second Premier League goal. I'm not expecting him to now go and end with 10 Premier League goals, which I need him to. I need someone to do that. How hopeful, Younes, are you of this new Nkunku position that he's put together here?
I genuinely have no idea. Because that solution was done as a consequence of how the game was going. It wasn't a thing to start off with. Now, maybe it's something that will be an eye-opener to possibly use going forward. I'm all for it, personally. I'm all for it. Because if it means being able to utilize the player and to come up with a different plan, which might get us somewhere, then fair enough. I think on that left-hand side, the issue here is when the wingers are not delivering, like we saw, and you have to come up with something on the spot. We'll credit to Maresca in that moment. That's what he did. And we saw the impact that Neto had, for example, which was brilliant. But it's like Miz was saying earlier on. There's a lot of these players that will have moments. And it's like, okay, one moment, someone looks fantastic. And then that player just dies off. And then we try and shift something, and then it happens with someone else, and then that dies off. And then you're constantly switching up. It's going to be no shock that going into Brighton, we'll go to Sancho again. And probably Neto would start, because that's just at face value what it seems like is best for the balance. Instead of just relying on Nkunku, which you're not so sure about. We've not really done it before. It's a bit experimental. I just don't think that's probably where we're going to rely. But in that moment against West Ham, it was a good solution overall for the entire shape, because we did change the shape. That was what was needed in that moment to get the win. So I'm all for that flexibility. And Nkunku is someone that didn't move on in the end. I feel like maybe heading into the summer could be an option to move on at some point if a club comes in, or if Bayern comes snooping again or whatever. But the thing with Nkunku that I'm mainly focusing on is him personally. Is his head in it? Is he focused? Is he going to push in ways that we were actually demanding that we didn't really see? We saw
He's got to make the biggest jump.
He has to. Is that going to be a case? Is he training well? God knows. These are things that only Maresca will know. So time will tell.
See, this is the thing. I'm with Younes where you just said. That's been my worry for Nkunku. How can you go from the first part of the season where you're not being part of it, and now all of a sudden you expect me to just switch on? Now, a lot of people will say you're still a Chelsea, player. We're your employers. You need to deliver. You're he, but mentality. The mindset is difficult. He's already had half the season where he's not felt important. Entirety of the January window, he was touted to leave. And now all of a sudden, I'm going to believe that, Enzo Maresca has created this little situation for me now on the left side. Cucurella is going to overlap and I'm going to be an important player. Look, yes, that situation created by Enzo Maresca was good for that situation, as both of you guys said. But I still believe Nkunku in that game, I didn't feel like he really did. Like, he didn't press. He didn't close down passing. It's not going to work out. Long term, this is not going to work out. And I'll tell you why one more. The more Cucurella bombs forward and Nkunku is not as effective in terms of his movement and his off-the-ball work rate, it's going to leave Colwell exposed at the back. One ball in behind Cucurella when he's bombing forward and there's a mistimed pass, it just takes one pass from the opposition to find their attacker up front to isolate Levi Colwell, and then we're in square one again. Do you know what I mean? So this will not last. And Enzo Maresca is big on balance, the defensive balance. We struggle defensively as it is.
Big time. Yeah.
But we struggle even when we have the balance, when the structure's there, supposedly. And we struggle then. Now we want to include Nkunku because, we want to have a little bit more attacking flair. It's going to expose a lot of these defenders, and they're already exposed. So, look, I don't expect this to run for too long. I expect Nkunku to leave in the summer. For his for his own best interest and for our best interest as well.
We still, we also don't see Enzo around the edge of the area anymore like we used to in terms of getting goals. Yeah, went through that little purple patch where he was getting loads of goals.
Lavia is important for that. Lavia is important for him to push.
Yeah, now it's Cucurella we see crashing into the box. Feels like almost a little bit of a shortcut. We go out wide, we cross, and we just hope that, Cucurella 5'10" or whatever he is, 5'9", we just get on the end of it and crash the box because he's just got the energy to just get up and down.
And he's generally the free man because the opposition doesn't account for him to be one of the attacking players. So this is why we used to see
in an ideal situation,
used to be one of the free players on the right.
In an ideal situation, when you're in possession and you're trying to play, Cucurella is not the person that you really want to see in the half spaces in possession.
No,
you don't want to see him there.
Yeah.
If I'm looking for a free man, and it's always got to be the fullback, right? If I'm looking for a free man, I want it to be someone who on the ball in advanced areas can make shit happen. That's the whole point of making them free in the first place. But if Cucurella is in possession in that system as a free man, and you give him the ball, it's not like, wow, this is a mad moment. You know what I mean? For all the energy, obviously, for all of the great performances, he should be really at left back, maybe coming into midfield. But for him to, he's a box crusher because he's one of the few that can actually get the head on things. But when we're trying to break down low blocks and we've got a tough defense in front of us, a low block, it's not ideal, man. It's not ideal. But anyway, let's get on to Todd Bowley and his ticketing, touting and whatever I don't know. I don't know why someone of this level of wealth, in a position that they're in, is he not acting chairman? Right?
Yep.
Why on earth do you think it's a good idea? Forget legality in America and whatever. We talk about PR all the time, right? PR. What is PR? PR is about, making yourself look good in the public eye, right? Public relations. Why on earth, with a club and a consortium and a group of people that are so concerned about PR, why on earth would he think it's a great idea to be the director of a website, which means now, you're clearly linked to what is going on here? Why would you think that's a good idea for tickets to be coming away from the crowd, coming away from a very already limited option in getting tickets? You've got shareholders. You've got season ticket holders, right? You've got very expensive packages I've seen. Yeah. Suites and, I've seen very expensive packages, meal this and food that, and right? The people that can afford that are not making up songs, they're not chanting, they're not creating any atmosphere, I can tell you that for free. You got the away section, you got hospitality, right? And then you got a bit of the West Upper, and that's where you can really maybe hope to buy a ticket on the off chance, and that's ain't the cheapest tickets, but they're there. Why on earth would you think it's a good idea to have tickets coming out of Stamford Bridge, going to America, and charging extortionate prices? That's a sackable offense. Like that's a you need to leave immediately offense. That's ridiculous. In this climate, in this time, when people are already struggling, when people already can't afford things, and you're asking, and the manager will keep asking for support. and for the crowd to get behind the team. Stamford Bridge atmosphere has been absolutely shockingly shit for years.
It's been demolished. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been demolished. It's poor. The home crowd is not great, right? It's very quiet. It's every away section that go there will tell you that. It's only the away lot that really make up the noise. Obviously, they're the hardcore. They go everywhere, all across the countries, etc. You're damaging again, and this is where the lack of thinking. You're just interested in the money side of it. You're damaging the crowd. You're damaging the atmosphere. That is going to have an impact on the team. That is going to have an impact on results. That is going to have an impact on everything.
Do you know
17,000. It's mad.
You know what?
It's mad.
I saw Younes and Minerals do this live stream last week. I had no idea what was going on. Someone DM'd me. A few people actually DM'd me. Miz, you got to check this out. You got to check this out. All right. So I was listening to it and I was absolutely blown out of my mind. What Younes and Minerals were saying in that stream, I don't think we understand how much of a criminal activity this is. Like, I don't understand why there isn't more noise happening around this. I know a few journalists have slowly started to see
There is now,
articles, but how is this not mainstream, athletic, and bigger noise?
It was mentioned yesterday, athletic.
But athletic, okay.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
this needs to, you need to understand. And I think, look, forgive me, all the American fans out there. This is not personal, but I feel like this is very much an Americanized approach. But when you look at, let's say, the first example that comes in my mind, for example, WrestleMania. WrestleMania is coming soon. Some of the ticket prices for WrestleMania is incredible.
It's insane.
Incredible. So what I'm trying to get to is that these owners, or in this case, Bowley, he's figured it out. He's like, Premier League is like the creme de la creme. Like, you can almost say it's the WrestleMania of the leagues. Do you know what I mean? This is where everyone wants to be. How are these ticket prices so minute? Even though for us, it still seems it's excessive. But he's thinking, there are people willing to pay $20,000 for one seat. So he's clocked it. He's like, why am I going to sell it for 80 or 90 pounds when I can go out there and sell it for unbelievable amount of money and people will buy it? Because this event is huge. Premier League is huge. Premier League matches are huge.
Yeah.
So the whole cultural values that football have, like that football has in not just in UK or in Europe or all across the world, these American owners are not about that. It's not about culture. It's not about fostering a community and so on and so forth. It's about commercialization. Every little detail is commercialized. They were
Apart
even
from the front
talking
of shirt. Apart from the front of shirt.
Oh, well, apart from the front of shirt. Every detail. They were even talking about, I remember when the owners came in, they threw this idea to the Premier League that what about halftime shows?
Yeah.
Because that's what they do in the United States on all their sports. Halftime shows are like nearly half an hour long. Some people even forget that there was a game going on. Do you know what I mean? At halftime, you just forget what happened here. It's a whole different concert that took place in halftime. So they believe in this concept. They believe in how much more they can squeeze out from the customers. Every penny must be mine. So you talk about Matisse, that this owner is so rich. How's he getting himself involved? For rich people, Matisse,
There's no limit.
Truth. There's no limit.
There's no limit.
Every money is money that needs to be in his pocket. It's never, ever enough.
You got to remember, Vivid Seats is the third, if I'm not mistaken, the third biggest ticket reseller in the world. And it isn't just exclusive to Chelsea. We've got to be like,
no, that's probably why it's not being reported so much.
People are looking at this and going, "Oh, it's not such a big deal," because they have it in their mindset like this is being portrayed like it's just exclusive to Chelsea. No. Premier League football, all sporting events, concerts, gigs, whatever. It's on there, right? The problem is it's a massive conflict of interest that's going on here. You don't have any other owners of football clubs that are on the board of directors of Vivid Seats, do we? It's our co-owner who is also on the board of directors of Vivid Seats. That's the issue here, because Chelsea want to clamp down so much on touting. The Premier League want to clamp down so much on touting, but Chelsea are allowed to partner with this company. Todd Bowley's on the board of directors, advocating for tickets to be sold at extortionate prices. And understandably, it can't be bought by people in the UK. Again, people want to make that point and make it seem like, oh, everything's fine then. No, when you get others that are coming from abroad to pay that sort of money, to get that sort of ticket, to then come and fill in the seats, do we not see where it is touting? It's touting.
Yeah,
touting.
it's literally it's
Touting.
luxury touting.
It's luxury touting, exactly. It's funny because we're talking about Chelsea, and this again, nothing against the ones who attended, right? Because you're going to understand what I mean here. The West Ham fans that were at the bridge when we played West Ham, right? In their section, the away section. Who was in that away section? No word of a lie. And it's there. You can go and see it. A school trip. There was a class, right? A school trip from abroad. There was somewhere in Asia, clearly, right? They had all come in, if I'm not mistaken, Korea or Japan or China, I don't know, somewhere. They had come in and they were in the West Ham away section. Now, this is wild for me, because if it was the home section, to an extent, I'd understand. The away section normally is exclusive. Season ticket holders who are traveling away and members with very, very high loyalty points that can get onto getting tickets for the away section because they go everywhere, right? That's the capacity. Normally, that's it. You can't fit anyone else in. They fit in. They got in. How? They didn't get it at face value. Let me tell you that now. There's no way. The away section. Like, how is this happening? Now, again, nothing against those the school trip and the kids, because obviously they're kids at the end of the day.
Great
but
experience for
I'm
them,
making the point. The availability was made out for people outside of the season ticket holders and the members. That's the problem here. If they could have got it, anyone else could have got it.
Yeah. When these guys came in, I remember them doing interviews and they're talking about how they need to maximize the commercial side of the sport. You guys are so silly over here. You're not maximizing. Do you not see all of the opportunity that's around you to make more money? It's almost like you don't want the yellow card to be sponsored. It's almost like you don't want halftime sponsor. It's almost like what's going on? What is going on over in America? Everything is sponsored.
Everything.
But that's
everything.
That's the norm for them over there. That's the norm.
Like, there's ads. Why are we not running ads during the game?
Yeah.
Why are we not taking 5-minute breaks and running ads? Why have we not got a halftime show? Why have we not got sponsorships for the red card, for the yellow card, why is there not sponsorship on the board when the time goes up so we can see a company there? Like, what? It's almost like you guys don't like money. There's free money you're throwing away. They said, we ain't gonna let this run. We coming in here to make some serious money.
Yeah.
Some walla. Yeah?
Yeah. That's exactly
And that's why every time you hear anything coming out of their mouths, it's about, look at this, look at how they run, look at all the money they get to make. How comes they're doing that? I don't hear about winning. I don't hear anything about winning. I don't hear anything about trying to build a football club that we can be proud of. When you strip it all down, anyone listening to this, are you proud of your football club? Are you proud of buying players 6 months ago for them to be redundant 6 months later? Are you proud of if you get a player on the back of the shirt, you don't know if they're going to be here in a few months' time? Are you proud of the fact that your players are getting their shirt numbers ripped off them? Are you proud of the amount of ins and outs? Are you proud of the amount of money spent?
Facts.
Are you proud?
Matisse, you know how since these new owners have come in, every window, as you just said, multiple ins and outs, right? Players coming in, players coming out. Now, okay, there might be some percentage of it from a sporting sense, but why do you think there's another reason why they do this? All of these ins and outs, what does it create? a buzz,
Chaos.
Reporters are reporting, websites are getting clicks. Chelsea YouTube channel will get clicks when the players signed in, their videos, their interviews. They want to have all of this. They want to be busy all the time because all of this is generating attention towards Chelsea every transfer window. And they love that. They love that.
Yeah, I
because
think
you're at the
people are bored.
forefront.
I think a lot of people are bored of it now, though.
No, but this is the thing. The
We
culture.
are.
Yeah, we
No,
are.
a lot of people are. So I've seen a lot. I've seen a lot of people as well are getting bored of it. Like they're not interested anymore in these stupid little deals.
Because that's not how we operate. And not just talking Chelsea here. This side of the pond, we don't run this way. In the States, with the American sports, they run that way. The trade system, no relegation, there's no pressure. It's almost like one big day out. If your team goes all the way, great. If they don't, we'll go again next year. But there's no repercussions. And the money that's involved is ridiculous. And everything's been commercialized and everything is, we already know. And they think that is going to work when it's shifted over here and we can turn it into that as well. Nah, because here it's a different gravy. Here, there are consequences when you don't perform. Here, there are other leagues that we're performing against at the same time. We're not monopolized. There's La Liga, there's Serie A, there's the Bundesliga, there's all this. We come together to try and play European competition and who's going to be the best in Europe at that point. That all comes based on merit. It doesn't come based on halftime shows and entertainment. It comes based on the quality that your team can provide. And if you don't get to that level, there's repercussions, right? If you slip further, you can get relegated. You can face consequences. It's a different ball game. One thing was at halftime against West Ham, we all saw this. You saw the DJ that was playing on the deck, the bridge and whatnot. We were 1-0 down. Yeah, in the States, that's fine. You could be down in a game and the fans will all be behind it and it's okay, right? Here in England, that doesn't wash. That doesn't wash. You could go to Chelsea, you could go to Arsenal, you could go to West Ham, you could go to wherever. That doesn't fly. That's not how we're built. You know, things are not okay when you're 1-0 down and everyone's, looking what's going on. And I have to add this because there's an element of this as to why there's some people that would make the point, no, but why aren't fans just a little bit more upbeat? There's a lot of people that don't understand the situation in the UK at the moment. People go to football to literally just try and escape. But it's a portion of their day. And after that, they have to go and worry about their problems again. That is always in their minds now. There's a big part of the population now that are worried and hesitant about where things are in their own lives. And they come to football, part of their day, let's hope you can get a result. But they're already down. That's a big thing in the UK at the moment, right? So that's something that people need to also remember. You're not going to get people that are upbeat. We talk about the atmosphere at Stamford Bridge. It's the same at the Emirates. It's the same at Old Trafford. It's the same at, you go to Spurs, you go to West Ham, you go to, all the home crowds are dead. There's a reason. That needs to be taken into consideration. It's not going to come, they're not going to just, start getting upbeat through a halftime show. That's not how we're built. In the States, maybe. Here, that's not how we're built. You give the fans something to react to, they'll react. It's like we saw when Chelsea got that equalizer, and then it looked like there was something to fight for. Oh, yeah, a new sense of life, a new buzz of life. The fans reacted. That's how we run. That's the English way. You can't, and they're trying to change that. This is my issue here. That you can see they're actively trying to change that. No, that works on your side of the pond. No problem. You do that there. No one's coming to try and change you over there. Don't come and try and change us over here.
This is the thing. Like, these are further added evidence showing me, and I'm pretty sure showing you guys as well, that their mind is not there to win. Their mind is there to how to maximize finances. Yeah. Because, look, let me tell you something. I know this team, I don't know what the future holds for them, but they're doing okay now. But I feel like something may be clicking there. You see the Nottingham Forest owner, the Greek guy.
Yeah.
I just get this feeling he's about this. He's
Greek,
about
man.
for the club.
He's Greek.
Yeah, he's Greek.
He's Greek, bro.
He's
He
passionate
live and
about
breathe football.
Yeah, like he's passionate about his football club, like the way he's there and signings and, making some very smart decisions with that football club. He's always congratulating. I know we say, oh, we don't want to see the owners there. We don't want to see the owners inside the dressing room and meddling around in dressing room conversations. But I don't mind an owner waiting just outside the tunnel and giving his players a high five after a really good performance. I don't mind that. That shows that you're connected. You feel what they feel, right?
100%.
And you feel what the fans feel. I feel like that's the culture. And he understands. He's from Greece, so he knows, Panathinaikos, AK Athens, Olympiakos. He knows about passion and what it means to, own a football club, I suppose, or see sports in that level, that culture, that community. These owners are not about that, man. They're not. Because if it was truly about trophies, we'd be moving in a different manner. I'm telling you right now.
3 years in, without question.
3 years in. Yeah. Okay, you made a mistake in the first year, no problems. You made a mistake in the second year, we'll let you off. Don't make it again. But 3 years in, you're still continuing, which makes me think there weren't mistakes,
Exactly.
It seems like that is who you are.
Mm-hmm.
It's only a mistake if you rectify it. Then you go, okay, fair enough. You made a mistake. This is who you are. And on this path, it's a limited cap. Yeah, there's a capping.
Exactly.
We may somehow make it to top 4 and watch every fan in the fan base get so excited, thanking and clapping the owners, but that might just be the cap,
That used to be mandatory, by the way.
That used to be the bare minimum.
But people will forget that, Matisse. They will quickly forget that. And it will be that Arsenal era where top 4 becomes a trophy. And then we crash out from the Champions League. We're not really relevant in the Premier League, but we just sneak into top 4 every season. We don't have a team to compete for the Champions League or the Premier League. Might win, I don't know, odd FA Cup just by mistake. but do you see what I'm saying? That policy or that model has a capping. It's not a model that breaks through that cap and wins. And some people might say, oh, but Miz, you're not in that Roman phase anymore. You can't just go out there. But we just did, though. We spent 1.5 bill plus. Don't tell me we haven't spent. We can spend. We have spent. We've kept within the PSR. But what we've done throughout this process is we've mismanaged the money. Or did we mismanage the money from the owner's point of view? From our point of view, we've mismanaged. From the owner's point of view, there might be, I'm looking at each and one of these investments as return on equity. Do you know what I mean? Return on investment. So owners might turn around and say, I don't think I mismanaged the money. I spent 1.5 and I'm about to get 2 billion in return. I haven't mismanaged the money. But us fans will be thinking, well, you have. We've not won anything.
Yeah. And we still have all these positions that we need to fill.
It's which glasses do you put on to see what you're seeing? Do you know what I mean?
They seem to wrap up, they're more interested in buying individual assets that they can sell on than actually buying what we need to compete.
To win. Yeah.
Right? And this even extends to just buying in the positions we need to compete.
Yeah.
They'd rather add their 7th midfielder than get their second striker.
Correct.
So what can you do? Well, we're going to wrap up there because I got to fly off to DR. Guys, there's that's the state of play. We got Brighton next on a Saturday. That FA Cup game is massive. We didn't get to speak about it, unfortunately, but we had to speak about that.
We'll win that.
Ticket touting in DL.
You
think we'll win?
Yeah, we'll win that.
Hopefully. Well, we need to, because we need to stay in that competition. We can't afford to go out of that FA Cup. Otherwise, we'll only have the Conference League left.
See, we're the bigger Brighton now. So for me, that's like our El Clasico. So the bigger brothers will always win.
All right, now I'm ending this.
That's El Clasico, do you know what I mean? So we're going to beat them. They are a small
Guys,
brother.
go subscribe, go smash up the likes. Younes and Mrs. channel will be linked in the description. Man's just called it El Clasico. Jesus
That's El
Christ.
Clasico.
We're rapping. In a bit, people. Peace.